So guys, yesterday we talked about aquaculture. We discussed about the solutions to problems related to agriculture in UP. And just like aquaculture, there are several other activities you can say which are related to agriculture, or you can say which are a part of agriculture diversification. So we are going to discuss all those things in this class. So the first activity is viticulture. The first activity is viticulture. Now, if we are talking about viticulture, in simple terms, for simple understanding, you can say viticulture simply means cultivation of grape. Cultivation of grape. Okay. And generally you can say the process of wine making. The process of wine making, it is also included. So, in a broader context, we can say that cultivation of grapes and wine making, they are collectively called what? They are collectively called viticulture. So this is the meaning of viticulture in simple terms. Okay? But just because we are preparing all these topics for mains, so you can say that viticulture is the science and practice of cultivating. Okay, it is the science and practice of cultivating grapes for various purposes. Okay, for various purposes. And if I'm saying various purposes, so whether you are going to use grapes for wine making, or you are going to use grapes for making raisins or any other purpose. So viticulture is simply the science and practice of cultivating grapes. Simple. Now if I'm saying that it is the science and practice of cultivating grapes, so this activity of viticulture, you can say it includes different activities. There are different steps when it comes to cultivation of grapes. So there are different steps, like you can say like planting. Of course, first of all, you are supposed to plant saplings, growth, or you can say growing those plants. So planting, growing, pruning, training, harvesting, processing, all these things are included. Planting, growing, pruning, training, harvesting, processing, you can say all these things, they are included in the activity of viticulture. Okay. So viticulture, it includes every step. It includes everything which is related to cultivation of grapes. Okay, cultivation of grapes. Now, as you can understand, that if we are talking about cultivation of grapes, if we are talking about the process of wine making, so we are talking about a fruit, and for fruits, quality is a very important aspect. Quality is very important. So that is why if any farmer wants to follow viticulture, okay, if that farmer wants to add viticulture to the conventional system of agriculture, so for that you can say that it requires knowledge of soil, of climatic conditions, that whether this type of soil, this type of climate, okay, it will support viticulture or not. It requires knowledge of grape varieties, okay, that which variety you need to plant. And apart from that, you can say it also requires the knowledge of wine making techniques, because wine making is अपने आप में एक process है ना. So if you want to utilize grapes for the purpose of wine making, so for that you need to have some sort of knowledge related to wine making. So all these things are required. Clear? In the process of viticulture, okay, like I was telling you that planting, okay, growing, pruning, training, all these things are very important. But in viticulture, a very, very important aspect is, you can say, harvesting grapes at the right time. And what is that right time? So the right time is, you can say, when the level of ripening is optimum. When the level of ripening is optimum. Like you can say ना, wine, जब हम wine की बात करते हैं, so for example, if you are trying to make sparkling wine, so for sparkling wine, grapes with high acidity, okay, they are preferred. तो मतलब थोड़ा ripening का level कम हो तो अच्छा रहेगा. And if you are making, you can say desert wine, so for making desert wine, high sugar content is needed. High sugar content is needed. तो ripening का level ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. तो यहाँ पर when you are harvesting grapes, so you need to keep it in your mind that what is the purpose, what kind of wine, okay, you will try to make, and depending on that, you need to decide that at which time we need to harvest this crop. Simple. So this is the meaning of viticulture. Now after meaning, there are several types of viticulture. There are several types of viticulture. Like the first one is known as integrated viticulture. Integrated viticulture. The second one is called organic viticulture. Organic. The third one is known as biodynamic viticulture. Biodynamic viticulture. And the fourth one is natural viticulture. You can say these are various types of viticulture. These are various types. तो एक एक करके अगर हम इनके बारे में बात करें, like if we are talking about integrated viticulture. Integrated viticulture, you can say it is a classical way of handling a vineyard. Classical way. Now if I'm saying classical way, so you can say we have been using this technique, okay, for a long period of time. So you can say it's an old method. It's a classical way. And the approach that in this system of viticulture, how we approach this activity, so the approach, you can say it is mainly focused on efficiency. That all the activities, okay, whether it is related to cultivation of grapes or it is related to winemaking, it should be efficient. So the efficiency is the most important thing here. Clear? The second fact, you can say that this type of viticulture, you can say it is eco-oriented. Eco-oriented matlab it gives you can say importance to ecosystem, to environment. Integrated viticulture. The second type of viticulture is organic. So I don't think that we need to discuss what is organic viticulture. Organic farming. So like in organic farming, okay, you focus on making the farming activity organic, and which simply means that you want to remove impurities from the soil. Simply because you are not using chemical fertilizers, you are not using chemical pesticides, insecticides, all these things. So you are trying to make soil pure. Because when soil is going to be pure, so your agricultural commodity is also going to be pure. And of course, this way of you can say handling any farm practice is going to help both environment as well as human beings. So organic viticulture, you can simply say it means including elements of organic farming in the process of viticulture. So in cultivation of grapes, in the process of wine making, if you are following the practices, okay, the elements, the components of organic farming, so that is organic viticulture. The next one is biodynamic viticulture. Now what is this biodynamic viticulture? There is a type of farming, and that is known as biodynamic farming. Now what is biodynamic farming? Just imagine, let me explain it and try to understand. Just imagine that if you are cultivating a crop, any crop you can imagine. So conventionally, for cultivation of that crop, you are going to use chemical fertilizers and several other types of chemicals like pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, etc. So that is conventional way. Simple. But suddenly, if you are going to change the methodology, that okay, now we are not going to use these chemicals. Instead, we are going to use biomanures. We are going to use biopesticides, bioinsecticides. So what you are doing, you are simply removing chemicals from the you can say process of crop cultivation. And this is how your agriculture is going to become organic. But still your focus is purely on the crop. But in biodynamic farming, we consider each and every, you can say, thing in that area. Each and everything. We take care of human beings who are involved. We take care of crops. We take care of birds, animals, organisms, other plants. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So in this type of farming, all those elements, all those living things which are present in that area, they are considered a part of farming activity. समझ में आ रही बात? So you can say biodynamic farming is more than organic farming. In organic farming, you are simply eliminating chemicals. Now in organic farming, you are not bothered about that. Okay, these birds are coming, so we need to take care of these birds. Okay, these organisms are roaming around, so we need to take care of these organisms. These human beings, they are working in this plant, okay, in this farm. We're not bothered about all these things. But in biodynamic, okay, what we do, that we focus on all these things. Just one second, please. hope that now you understand what is the meaning of biodynamic farming or biodynamic viticulture and how it is different. Now, if we are talking about natural viticulture, so you can say that it is the most orthodox trend with ecosystem approach. मतलब नेचुरल विटिकल्चर की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? दैट यू आर गिविंग द utmost priority to the nature. मतलब for you the most important thing is nature. So obviously you can say that you are going to follow nature's directions properly. You are going to follow natural cycles properly, and you won't try to alter those things. समझ में आ रही बात? So when we make viticulture, मतलब बिल्कुल आप ऐसे कर दोगे उसको जैसे वो नेचर ही कर रहा है. जो ग्रेप्स का कल्टीवेशन है आपका, उसमें ह्यूमन एलिमेंट्स हैं, बट यू आर ट्राइंग टू मिनिमाइज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ह्यूमन एलिमेंट्स, so that becomes natural viticulture. So these are different types of viticulture. We have discussed all these things, and now we are going to talk about the steps taken by the government of Uttar Pradesh for the promotion of viticulture. So if we are going to talk about the steps government has taken, so first you can say, like in 2020, Uttar Pradesh government created a separate department for horticulture. A separate, horticulture department was created in 2020, and of course, it was created for the purpose of promoting horticulture in the state. And we'll discuss about horticulture, and I'll tell you that this viticulture is a part of horticulture. Okay, viticulture is a branch of horticulture. Clear? So this is, you can say, one step. क्योंकि देखो administrative level पर, just imagine that there is Ministry of Agriculture, there is Department of Agriculture, and it is handling each and everything. Whether it's animal husbandry or crop cultivation or horticulture, it is handling each and everything. But if you are going to segregate, the work that okay, you need to focus on crop cultivation, you need to focus on animal husbandry, you need to focus on fisheries. So then the work is going to be more efficient. The work is going to be more focused. So that is why the government created a different department. After that, you can say government established grape clusters. Government established grape clusters. And government established grape clusters in Agra, Mathura, Meerut, and Saharanpur. Agra, Mathura, Meerut, and Saharanpur. And what is the purpose of establishing grape clusters? So you can say the purpose is to motivate, to promote, to encourage grape cultivation, okay, and providing support to all those farmers who are involved in this process. Okay, to promote this activity of grape cultivation and to support all those farmers who are involved in this activity. You can say that these grape clusters, they are equipped with modern infrastructure. They are equipped with modern facilities, okay, and modern facilities related to cold storage, you can say sorting of grapes, grading of grapes, packaging, processing. So they are having all these facilities. Okay, so this is another step. The next one, you can say number 3. Note it down that government is promoting the use of high yielding varieties. Government is promoting the use of high yielding varieties like Thompson seedless, like Sonaka. So Thompson seedless, Sonaka, etc. And you can say that these varieties, they are known for high level of production, superior quality, and longer shelf life. So now the production is going to be more, the quality is going to be better, and you can keep those, you can say, grapes for a long period of time because their shelf life is long. So this is another step, you can say. After that, number 4, you can say government is providing financial assistance. Government is providing financial assistance to the farmers. And if I'm saying government is providing financial assistance to the farmers, so financial assistance for what? We can say for setting up of drip irrigation systems, or you can say construction of rainwater harvesting systems. You can say for establishment of new vineyards. Apart from that, you can say for setting up of grape processing units. And the for the purchase of machinery and equipments. for the purchase of machinery and equipments. So for all these things, government is providing financial support. So it is another important step, you can say. Now, apart from that, you can say number 5, government is providing, you can say, training and capacity building. So government is, you can say, running or offering several programs for training and capacity building. देखो मैंने जैसे बोला आप लोगों को that viticulture is a specialized form of agriculture. It is a specialized form of cultivation and you need knowledge if you are cultivating grapes for any purpose. And for that you need training, capacity building. So अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं ट्रेनिंग की कि ट्रेनिंग किस लिए? So to promote farmers for adoption of viticulture. It's not a common thing. Okay, in UP, you are not going to expect that each and every farmer is going to cultivate grapes. But yes, if you will tell them everything, okay, if you will provide each and every information that these are the requirements, your soil is good, your climate is favorable, okay, these are the schemes which government is running, so you can take the benefit of all these schemes. So this is how you are going to promote farmers to adopt viticulture. Apart from that, you can say these programs, they include grape cultivation techniques, that what are the techniques through which you can cultivate grapes. They include pest management, okay, post-harvest management, marketing techniques, etc. So these are the efforts which government is making to make viticulture popular, to make viticulture beneficial. So we have discussed each and everything related to viticulture, and now after completing this, we are going to talk about the other activity, and that is sericulture. Okay, the next activity, sericulture. So the question is, what is sericulture? What is the meaning of sericulture? In simple terms, you can say sericulture means production of silk. Okay, in simple terms, it means production of silk. But you can say that if we are writing about sericulture, so we can write that sericulture includes, okay, sericulture includes breeding, rearing, and management of silkworms. Breeding, rearing, and management of silkworms for the purpose of production of silk fibers. For the purpose of production of silk fibers. तो समझ में क्या आया? That in sericulture, you are simply rearing silkworms, and those silkworms, they are going to provide you with silk fibers, and then you are going to use that silk mainly in silk textile industry. Clear? तो ये तो हो गया कि अगर हम sericulture की बात करते हैं, what is sericulture? So this is the meaning of sericulture. But in sericulture there are different steps, there are different stages which you need to follow. So if we are going to talk about these steps, so you can say sericulture starts, okay, with the selection of high quality silkworm eggs. So first you are going to identify high quality silkworm eggs. Silkworm rearing है ना, तो silkworm eggs आपको identify करने पड़ेंगे, and that too of high quality. After that, those eggs, after selection of eggs, they are hatched and reared on a diet of, you can say, leaves of different plants. Okay, leaves of different plants. So normally हम लोग mulberry tree की बात करते हैं, but you need to remember that mulberry tree is not used for each and every type of silk. I'll tell you, there are different types of silk and different types of trees which are used. So first you are going to select eggs, then you are going to hatch those eggs, and after that you are going to rear, you can say, silkworms on a diet of plant leaves. And after that what happens, that the larva comes out of those eggs. So larva starts growing and it sheds its skin several times. Okay, it keeps shedding its skin. Okay, and ultimately, we say that after some time, after a few weeks, larva from its glands, it secretes a material, and that material, you can say, it develops a shell around it, cocoon. Okay, so you can say those larvae, they develop cocoons around them, and the material which they secrete, okay, which they secrete from their glands, when that material comes in the contact of air, so it becomes hard. So through that process, they develop a shell around them, and that shell is known as cocoons. And you need to remember that this cocoon is made of, it is made of a single thread of silk. A single thread makes the whole cocoon. And when cocoon is going to develop, so simply you can say we are going to harvest those cocoons carefully, and in the end, we are going to produce silk. So these are the things which are included in sericulture. Now, after understanding the meaning of sericulture, if we are going to talk about the types. So the first one, which is the most, you can say, prevalent one, is mulberry silk rearing. Mulberry silk rearing. Okay. The second one is Muga. Muga silk rearing. Third one, okay, after Muga, third one you can say it is Iri silk rearing. Iri silk rearing. And the fourth one is Tussar silk rearing. So these are four different types of sericulture. Okay, these are four different types of sericulture. So, first of all, if we are talking about, you can say mulberry silk rearing. So you can say mulberry silk, it accounts for 95% of the total silk produced all over the world. So 95% silk which is produced in the world is mulberry silk. इंडिया के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप बोलोगे that 70% of India's silk is mulberry silk. 70%. And in mulberry silk rearing, this silkworm which we use is it is called Bombyx mori. Bombyx mori. Okay, so this is the silkworm which we use, and we rear these silkworms on the leaves of mulberry tree. So the tree is mulberry, and the name of mulberry is Morus indica. Morus indica, botanical name. Morus indica or mulberry tree. Clear? And you need to remember that these mulberry trees, they are specially cultivated, manured, and cared for providing food, to silkworms. So if you are rearing Bombyx mori, okay, on mulberry trees, so you can say from this activity you are going to get mulberry silk. और mulberry silk के बारे में अगर आप ध्यान रखोगे तो it's a better quality silk, मतलब अच्छी silk. Okay, it's a good quality silk. After that, if we are going to talk about Muga silk rearing, so you can say Muga is mostly prevalent in northeastern part of India. Muga silk rearing is more prevalent in northeastern part of India, and in northeastern part of India you can say, especially in Assam and Meghalaya. Now in this type of you can say sericulture, the yarn which we get, it is slightly golden in color, and that is why Muga silk is also called golden thread. It is also called golden thread. ठीक है? और जहां तक बात है कि मतलब silkworm इसमें कौन सा हम यूज करते हैं, so the silkworm which is reared in Muga silk rearing is called Anthraic assama. Okay, Anthraic assama. So this is silkworm which we use, and the plant, okay, which provides, or the tree which provides food. So the tree is, you can say, it is stone or Machilus bombicina tree. Stone or Machilus bombicina. Machilus bombicina tree. So these you can say silkworms and trees, they are used in Muga silk rearing. Now Muga silk rearing को हम बोलते हैं that it is the toughest form of sericulture. It is the toughest of all the types of silkworm rearing because it has to be done outdoors on the trees. Okay, you can say themselves. Like in mulberry, what we do now, we rear silkworms on trays. Okay, so we rear silkworms on trays in indoors, and we give them leaves. But in Muga, you need to rear silkworms on the tree itself in outdoor situation, in outdoor conditions, and that is why it becomes difficult. Clear? The next one, okay, after Muga, the next one is Iri. Iri में हम क्या देखते हैं that the silkworm is Philosomia ricini. Philosomia ricini. Okay, so we use this silkworm Philosomia ricini, and you can say it is easier in comparison to mulberry silk rearing and Muga silk rearing. Now this silkworm, okay, Philosomia ricini. This silkworm, you can say, requires ambient temperature of around 27 degrees centigrade, ambient temperature of around 27 degrees centigrade, relative humidity of around 70%, relative humidity of around 70%, adequate ventilation, adequate lighting, okay, adequate ventilation, adequate lighting. So obviously we are talking about an indoor system that you need to maintain temperature of around 27 degrees centigrade, you need to maintain a relative humidity of around 70%, there should be adequate ventilation, adequate lighting, okay, and of course you need to protect it from insects, pests, okay, etc. So these are the conditions which it requires, but it is relatively easier to rear in comparison to, you can say, mulberry and this Muga silk rearing. And the leaves which we use in iris silk rearing are the leaves of castor plant. Castor plant, which is known as, Ricinus communis. Ricinus communis. Castor plant. Clear? So this is iris silk rearing. Now after iris silk rearing, the last one is tussar. Tussar silk, you can say that it is copperish in color. Tussar silk is copperish in color, and you can say it is coarse silk. मतलब मोटी होती है silk. It's not fine silk, coarse silk. And it is less lustrous than mulberry silk. Less lustrous than mulberry silk. So the shine is less lustrous. And you can say the tussar silk is generated by using silkworm Anthrae millita. Okay? And the plant, or you can say tree, which we use is Asan and Arjun. So these are the trees which are used in tussar silk rearing. Clear? So we have discussed different types of sericulture. Now after discussing different types of sericulture, now we are going to talk about government initiatives. कि यूपी गवर्नमेंट ने क्या-क्या initiatives लिए हैं to promote, okay, this activity of sericulture. So the first, you can say, government of UP, okay, government of Uttar Pradesh has implemented a sericulture promotion policy. So government of Uttar Pradesh has enacted and implemented a sericulture promotion policy, and the purpose is to encourage and promote sericulture industry in the state. Sericulture, okay, to promote, to encourage this industry in the state. And you can say recently, PM of Yogi, CM of UP, Yogi Adityanath, he inaugurated sericulture fair in Gorakhpur. Sericulture fair. So if government is organizing sericulture fair, okay, so why? What is the purpose? Of course, to make people aware, to bring this sericulture into limelight. So this is one step. The second one, you can say, government has established sericulture training and research centers. Sericulture training and research centers. So what is the objective? Of course, these centers are meant to provide training, to provide technical assistance for all those farmers and entrepreneurs who are involved in this process of sericulture. Okay, so you can say to provide training, to provide technical assistance to farmers and entrepreneurs involved in the sector of sericulture. Apart from establishment of training and research centers, you can say government has set up sericulture farms. Number 3, government has set up sericulture farms in different parts of the state. And why? Of course, आप बोलोगे that government has set up sericulture farms to promote sericulture. Okay, to promote sericulture, you can say to increase the production of silk, and you can say to boost production of better quality silk. Clear? So for that, government has established sericulture farms. After that, number 4, you can say government provides financial assistance to all the farmers who are involved in sericulture. Okay, government provides financial assistance, and government provides financial assistance in the form of, you can say, subsidies, in the form of loans. Okay, so subsidies and loans are being provided, and for what? So you can say subsidies and loans are being provided for establishment of sericulture units for promotion of silk production. So government is encouraging farmers to set up sericulture units, and for that the subsidies are being provided, loans are being provided. So this is another, you can say, effort from the side of government. And the last one, you can say, number 5, is quality certification. So you can say government has set up a quality certification system. So there are some centers, okay, and from those centers you can take quality certificates. And how these quality certificates they are going to help you? देखिए, आपको मार्केट में अगर सिल्क को बेचना है, अगर आपको मार्केट में सिल्क को बेचना है, तो फॉर दैट यू नीड टू हैव a standard in terms of quality. So standard quality is required. So government is providing certificates that okay, this silk it meets all those requirements. Okay, it meets all those requirements. Okay. And apart from that, number 6, you can say government is also providing marketing support. Government is also providing marketing support. Okay. तो ये सारी की सारी चीजें जो हैं वो आप लोग याद रखोगे if we are talking about the efforts from the side of government to boost, to encourage this activity of sericulture. Clear? Now after discussing sericulture, now we are going to discuss another activity, and that activity is floriculture. Okay? Now we are going to talk about floriculture. Floriculture. So first, let's try to understand that what is the meaning of floriculture. If we are talking about floriculture, so what is the meaning? You can say, if we are talking about floriculture, so floriculture means, generally you can say it means cultivation of flowering plants. Floriculture is meant to produce flowers, and if you want to produce flowers, so for that you need to cultivate flowering plants. So if you want to note it down that what is the meaning of floriculture, so you can say growing and cultivating flowering plants. Growing and cultivating flowering plants. Clear? And why we are going to cultivate, we are going to grow flowering plants? What is the purpose? So you can say the purpose is beautification. मान लो आपने अपने घर के बाहर ही flowering plants, ठीक है, cultivate कर लिया. Why? For beautification. Or you can say for ornamental value. Ornamental value. And if you are doing that for the market, you can say it is commercial value. So either it is ornamental value, beautification, or you can say it is commercial value. So to fulfill any of these purposes, if we are growing, cultivating flowering plants, so that is known as floriculture. Now floriculture, you need to remember that floriculture is a branch of horticulture. Floriculture is a branch of horticulture. Okay, after completing floriculture, we'll discuss about horticulture. So it is simply a branch of horticulture, and it includes cultivation of, you can say, flowers, you can say foliage plants, okay, foliage plants, and ornamental plants. So in horticulture, okay, there is a branch, and in that branch we simply, you can say, cultivate those plants which provide some sort of aesthetic value, which make a landscape beautiful, or they are providing flowers. Okay, so that branch of horticulture, okay, that branch of horticulture is known as what? It is known as, floriculture. It's known as floriculture. Clear? तो ये तो हो गया मतलब. अब इसके बारे में एक चीज ध्यान रखेंगे that why we are talking about floriculture, because you can see that with increasing level of income, with increasing standard of life, okay, the demand for all these commodities, like we are talking about ornamental plants, foliage plants, we are talking about flowers, so the demand for all these things is increasing. Okay, the demand for all these things is increasing, and this is the reason that why we are discussing about floriculture. This is the reason. Clear? So it is because of growing demand that in the market the demand is increasing, and we need to fulfill that demand. Simple. Now if we are talking about floriculture, so there are several types. Okay, there are several types. Now in types, first let me tell you कि हम floriculture को कितने types में divide कर सकते हैं. So like the first one, and these are basically, you can say, the types of plants, okay, which we are cultivating. Like the first one is, you can say, cultivation of bedding plants. Then the second one, you can say, it is cultivation of hanging plants. Third, you can say cultivation of potted plants. Potted plants. Okay, cultivation of potted plants. The next one, you can say dried plants. Dried plants. I'll tell you the meaning. Okay, dried plants, and the last one is known as cut flowers. Cut flowers. You can say these are different forms of floriculture, different types of floriculture. Now just imagine that if I'm saying cultivation of bedding plant. So bedding plants, you can say that, just imagine that in your house, okay, you have constructed a flower bed. बाहर आपने एक स्पेस छोड़ रखा है, आपने सोचा कि यहाँ पर आप फ्लावर्स लगाएंगे. So that is flower bed. And in that flower bed, if you are going to cultivate annual plants, so that is known as bedding plants, or we can say cultivation of bedding plants. Hanging, second one is hanging plants. Hanging plants का क्या मतलब है? Simple. आपने देखा होगा that in certain spaces, in certain places, you might have seen that plants, decorative plants, they remain suspended, you can say from the ceiling. तो अगर इस तरीके के plants हैं जिसमें आप देख रहे हो there are hanging baskets, and in those hanging baskets you have planted, okay, plants, or either they are flowering plants, or you can say foliage plants, or any type of plant, and they are hanging, okay, they are grown in hanging baskets, so you can say that is cultivation of hanging plants. The next one is potted. So instead of making a flower bed, if you are simply keeping flowering plants, foliage plants, ornamental plants in pots, normally आपने देखा होगा लोग अपने घर की बालकनी में, छत पे, ठीक है, pots में पेड़ लगा देते हैं. So what is that? That is also a floriculture. If you are simply planting, if you are simply growing those plants for beautification, so that is also, you can say, a form of floriculture, and that is cultivation of potted plants. Dried plants का मतलब होता है that you are cultivating plants, okay, those plants जिनके जो flowers होंगे, those flowers are used after, okay, they have dried. तो अगर आपने ऐसे plants जो हैं वो लगाए हैं, ठीक है, जिनके flowers जब सूख जाएंगे तब उनको यूज किया जाएगा. So you can say you are cultivating dried plants. And the last one is cut flowers. So simple. आप रोज का एग्जांपल ले लीजिए, आप किसी भी ऐसे प्लांट का एग्जांपल ले लीजिए जिसमें फ्लावर्स निकलते हैं, then we cut the stem, okay, and we sell those flowers along with stem, leaf and flowers. So that is cut flowers. Simple. So this is, you can say, this is the these are the types, different types of, or different forms of floriculture. Now if there is a question that what is the significance, why do we need floriculture, or why floriculture is important, why floriculture is important? So you can say floriculture is important because first of all, it is helping farmers to diversify their agriculture. It adds another dimension. It is, you can say, if farmers, they are involved in floriculture, just imagine that if farmers, they are cultivating flowering plants or foliage plants or ornamental plants, so they are not going to do it for subsistence. They are going to practice this activity for commercial purpose. So small farmers, medium farmers who are owning a small piece of land, if they are going to cultivate these crops, so these crops are going to provide more benefits. It is going to be more remunerative for them. Simple. So it is helping in diversification of agriculture. You can say it is going to increase farmers' income. It is going to increase farmers' income. It will help to make agriculture commercial. Okay, it will help to make agriculture commercial. It will help to make, you can say, agriculture export oriented. So you can cultivate ornamental plants, flowers which you can export. And of course, apart from all these things, you can say that it will help in employment generation. So these are the things which you can associate with floriculture. Okay, these are the things which we can associate with floriculture. Now, if we are talking about the initiatives which government has taken, we can say government has taken several initiatives for the promotion of floriculture. Okay, they have taken several initiatives. Like you can say they have established training and research centers. They are providing financial support to the farmers who are involved in floriculture, and they are, you can say, they're trying to create a market support system. So all these things are, you can say, relevant in the context of promotion of floriculture. Apart from that, the government of UP, it has agreed to join, you can say, National Botanical Research Institute, NBRI. So government of UP, it has joined hands with NBRI to prepare a roadmap for you can say promotion of flower farming. So NBRI is preparing a roadmap and government of UP, it has joined that initiative. So now they are preparing a roadmap and you can say central government has launched National Floriculture Mission. So you can say this joint initiative of UP government and NBRI, it is a part of that project. Okay? National Floriculture Mission. Clear? तो यहाँ पर आकर के हम लोगों ने ये बात कर ली that what is floriculture. Now after discussing floriculture, now we are going to talk about horticulture. Okay, now we are going to talk about horticulture. Now if we are talking about horticulture, so you can say horticulture is a branch of agriculture. Horticulture is a branch of agriculture. And this branch of agriculture, you can say it deals with cultivation of fruits, vegetables, flowers, and ornamental plants. So you can say if we have discussed viticulture, so viticulture is a part of horticulture. If we have discussed floriculture, so floriculture is also a part of horticulture. If we are talking about olericulture, olericulture is the cultivation of vegetables. So olericulture is also a part of floriculture. समझ आ रही कुछ बात? So it is simply a branch of agriculture in which you are not going to cultivate conventional crops like pulses, oil seeds like food grains, or other cash crops like sugarcane, coffee, tea. You are not cultivating those crops. You are cultivating fruits, you are cultivating, you can say, vegetables, flowers, etc. Now this term horticulture, it combines two Latin words, hortus and cultura. Hortus and cultura. Now hortus means garden. The meaning of hortus is garden. And cultura means cultivation, like agriculture. So horticulture, you can say it is garden farming. We can say it is garden farming in simple terms. That there's a garden, and in that garden, if you are cultivating fruits, vegetables, flowers, etc., so that is horticulture. Simple. So this is the meaning. This is the meaning of horticulture. Now, after the meaning, if we are going to talk about the scope, that if government has started Golden Revolution, Golden Revolution was meant to promote horticulture. If government has started National Horticulture Mission, so what is the scope? Is there any scope, or we are simply wasting our resources? We are wasting time, we are wasting energy. So if we want to understand the scope, so the first thing, why horticulture is attractive, why horticulture is important. So you can say horticulture crops provide more per hectare yield than conventional crops. Horticulture crops provide more per hectare yield than conventional crops. Okay. So you can say per hectare productivity is going to increase. And you need to add another point that horticulture crops are extremely valuable. Whether you are talking about fruits or vegetables or flowers or ornamental plants, they are of high value. Okay, so they are extremely valuable. So if you are talking about, per hectare production, if you are talking about economic production, so it is going to be more than that of conventional agriculture. And if this is the case, so you can say horticulture is very, very important for small farmers, for marginal farmers. Okay, so it is important for small farmers and marginal farmers. And if we are going to follow this practice of gardening, so you can say that horticulture can benefit environment also. horticulture can benefit environment also, and how it is going to you can say benefit environment, because in horticulture you are going to use all the waste, like domestic waste, घर से जो भी सब्जियों फल उन सब का जो मतलब वेस्ट निकलता है वो सब आप गार्डन्स में यूज कर सकते हो. You don't need to throw all those things. You can say organic waste which we are releasing, we can use that organic waste in gardening, so it is going to minimize waste. And if you are following horticulture, if you are following gardening and you are using organic waste as a manure, so it is going to improve soil health, so conservation of soil. And the next thing is that horticulture crop, they don't require that much of water. Like if you are cultivating rice or sugarcane or any other crop, they require a lot of water, तो उतना पानी आनी चाहिए, तो इसका मतलब water conservation के लिए भी important हो जाएगा. So all these things they are showing that what is the significance, what is the importance. Now after discussing the significance or the importance, the next point which we are going to discuss is types of horticulture. So now we are going to talk about different types of horticulture. You know, in types of horticulture, the first one is known as arboriculture, and we'll discuss about arboriculture in detail. But you can simply say that arboriculture is, you know, cultivation and management of trees. In simple terms, you can say cultivation and management of trees. We'll talk about arboriculture in detail. तो यहाँ पर हमें उतना ज़्यादा डिस्कस करने की जरूरत नहीं है. In simple terms, you can say arboriculture means cultivation and management of trees. Simple. The second one is known as turf management. Turf management. Now, what is turf management? You can say turf management is also called pitch care. Pitch, cricket pitch बोलते हैं. Pitch care. And you can say that it refers to or it includes maintenance of sporting surface. Just imagine that if there is a cricket ground or there is a football ground or there is a park and you are maintaining a grass cover so that that park or ground can be used properly, so that is turf management. And turf management is a part of horticulture. It's a part of horticulture. The next one, number 3, is floriculture. So I don't think that we need to talk about floriculture because we have discussed what is the meaning of floriculture. Okay, so floriculture is a part. Now apart from floriculture, the next one is landscape horticulture. Landscape horticulture. Landscape horticulture. You know, there is, you can say there is a branch which is called landscaping. When we talk about construction related activities, so in construction related activities, there is something called landscaping. You need to understand the meaning of this term landscape. हिंदी में इसको कहते हैं भूदृश्य. भूदृश्य हिंदी के जो शब्द होते हैं ना उनसे काफी कुछ बड़ा आसानी समझ में आ जाता है. भू मतलब अर्थ, पृथ्वी. दृश्य मतलब which is visible. So when you are going to visit any place, or just imagine that you are standing at a particular place and you are seeing around you. So you'll see different things. Okay, so that is your landscape. And we are saying landscape horticulture. So just imagine that, you know, in your surroundings, if you are planting trees, okay, if you are planting, you know, ornamental trees, flowering plants, if you are covering, you can say bare surface with grass cover. So to make your landscape beautiful, that is landscape horticulture. आप देखते हो ना किसी मतलब बड़े से मेंशन में आप जाओगे तो वहां पर आपको ऐसी खुली मिट्टी नहीं दिखेगी. All the areas going to be grass covered. There are going to be some, you know, trees which are beautiful. There are going to be some flowering plants. So this is landscape horticulture. Clear? Next, after landscape horticulture, the next one, number 5, is olericulture. Olericulture. So what is olericulture? In simple terms, we can say that olericulture is cultivation of vegetables. Okay, it simply means cultivation of vegetables, or you can say cultivation of non-woody plants for human consumption. So if you are cultivating vegetables, so that is also a part of horticulture, and it is called olericulture. It is called olericulture. The next one is known as pomology. Number 6, pomology. Pomology. What is Pomology. So pomology, you can say that the study of fruits and their cultivation. Study of fruits and their cultivation is known as pomology. Okay. So if you are studying fruits, if you are cultivating fruits, so that is also a part of horticulture. Okay, that's also a part of horticulture. Or in pomology, you can say that we study that the growth of plants, the enhancement, you can say cultivation and their physiological activity. So all these things we study in pomology. After that, number seven is viticulture. So we have discussed about viticulture in detail. I don't think we need to discuss about all these things again. You know the meaning of viticulture. Okay. So these are, you can say, different branches of horticulture. Okay. So now you understand what is the meaning of horticulture. And if horticulture is including everything, if horticulture is including fruits, cultivation of fruits, vegetables, flowering plants, ornamental plants, if it is including landscape management, everything, so of course horticulture is going to be very, very important. Whether you are talking about India or you are talking about UP, it's very important. आप कभी भी ना मतलब किसी डेवलप्ड कंट्री का कोई वीडियो, कोई पिक्चर अगर देखोगे, and especially their urban areas, cities, so you will see that in cities all those surfaces which are not covered with concrete, they are going to have trees and they are going to be covered with grass. समझ में आ रही बात? This is landscape management, and you can see in most Indian cities it is absent. Clear? So the importance of horticulture is huge. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ आप economic dimension ही देखोगे. There is economic dimension, there is social dimension, there is environmental dimension. So there are so many benefits, and that is why we need to focus on this horticulture sector. Now, if we are going to talk about the importance, that what is the importance of horticulture, we can say that horticulture crops, okay, or plants which we cultivate in horticulture, apart from you can say apart from providing fruits, vegetables, flowers, etc., horticulture also provides raw materials for the preparation of herbal medicines. So you can say horticulture, apart from providing different commodities which we consume or which we utilize, it also provides raw materials for the preparation of herbal medicines. So that is why it is important. The second point, you can say that horticulture provides raw materials for different industries. Just imagine that if you are talking about pickle industry, अचार की बात करिए आप, जैम इंडस्ट्री की बात करिए आप, तो उन सबको क्या चाहिए? फ्रूट्स चाहिए, वेजिटेबल्स चाहिए. If you are talking about wine making industry, so they also need fruits. Like in UP, okay, the government of UP is trying to increase wine making capacity. And why? What is the logic? The logic is that all the fruit which we produce in this state, okay, so a large portion of those fruits, okay, it gets wasted. So to minimize that wastage, to minimize that loss, government is trying to set up wineries so that we can use those surplus fruits in those wineries. So you can say horticulture provides raw materials for different industries. Clear? Apart from that, you can say horticulture is good for environmental and mental health. Or you can say health of human beings. सिर्फ mentally नहीं आप बोलेंगे, physical health के लिए भी important है. Look, horticulture is providing fruits, providing vegetables. So of course, if you're going to eat fruits and vegetables, if you're going to include those things in your diet, so they'll improve your physical health. Mental health का मतलब ये हो जाएगा that if you are adopting, horticulture, if you are simply, cultivating some horticulture crops, so it kind of, you can say, it takes you away from all those things which are of daily routine. मतलब हर दिन हम लोग इतना स्ट्रेस रहता है, वीक में एक दिन आप निकाल करके थोड़ा पेड़ पौधों के साथ बिताएंगे, उनकी थोड़ी देखभाल करेंगे, थोड़ा उस स्ट्रेस से आप बचोगे. Like I told you that arboriculture is a part of horticulture, and in arboriculture we plant trees. So the concept of urban forestry, we'll talk about it. The concept of urban forestry is based on arboriculture. just imagine if in urban areas you are planting trees, you are taking care of those trees, you are managing those trees, so they will improve environmental condition. So this is the significance, this is the importance. You can say horticulture can provide women the opportunity to enhance, the opportunity to enhance household income and nutrition. Horticulture can provide women the opportunity to enhance the household income and nutrition. So you can say it will improve gender equity. Okay, it will improve gender equality. It will help in the field of gender equality. Clear? And the last point you can say that horticulture provides employment, or horticulture generates employment. Okay, so it is beneficial for generating employment. ठीक है, तो ये सारी की सारी चीजें जो हैं वो हम लोगों ने देखी, जिसके बारे में हम लोगों को बात करनी है. ठीक है? Now if you are going to talk about the government efforts, so government efforts में आप ये ध्यान रखेंगे that UP government is trying to set up excellence centers and mini excellence centers which are high tech nurseries in 75 districts of the state. Excellence centers and mini excellence centers or high tech nurseries. And what is the purpose? So the purpose is to boost horticulture, to boost food processing industry, Okay. Apart from that, you can see the Indo-Israel Center for Excellence. It has been established in Basti and Kannauj. So the center in Basti, it is for you can say fruits, for the cultivation of fruits, and the center in Kannauj is for vegetables. So the purpose is to produce quality seedlings. Indo-Israel Center for Excellence. Basti, in Basti it is for promotion of fruits, and in Kannauj it is for promotion of vegetables. The next one, you can say the state government has set an ambitious target to increase the area of cultivation of horticulture crops from 11.6% to 16% of, you can say, total crop area of the state. So right now it is 11.6, and government has set a target to increase it to 16%. You can say government through high-tech nurseries, government is trying to grow quality saplings and seeds so that we can increase the production of horticultural crops. वो जो mini excellence centers establish हो रहे हैं, which are high-tech nurseries, so you can say through those high-tech nurseries, we'll try to provide high-quality seedlings. Okay, you can say saplings, seeds, all these things to the farmers so that they can produce good quality horticultural crops. And in the last 5 years, UP has witnessed an increase of 0.7% in the production of fruits and vegetables. So there has been an increase. It's a positive sign, although it is not much, but there is a positive sign that the production is increasing. Okay, the production is increasing. And you can say government is also promoting protected farming through Indo-Israel technology. Now what is protected farming? देखिए, आप अगर किसी क्रॉप को जिस सीजन में वो नेचुरली ग्रो करती है उस सीजन में आप ग्रो करोगे, so you don't need anything extra. But if you want the availability of vegetables and fruits throughout the year, and if you are cultivating a crop in a season which is not suitable for it, so for that you need protected farming. You need to create conditions which are favorable for that crop. Okay? So this is protected farming which we are promoting so that we can grow off-season vegetables. Okay? Now the last one is arboriculture. So after horticulture, we are going to talk about arboriculture. So the first question is that what is the meaning of arboriculture? You can note it down that it's the cultivation, management and study of trees, shrubs and other woody plants. Clear? You can say it involves the care and maintenance of trees. So in arboriculture, okay, what we are including, so you can say we are including care and maintenance of different trees for various purposes, like for landscaping, for urban forestry, etc. ठीक है? तो मतलब सिंपल है कि अगर आप ट्रीज वगैरह कल्टीवेट कर रहे हो, if you are planting trees and you are taking care of those trees, so that is known as arboriculture. Now, arboriculture, you need to remember that it is an important part of urban forestry. Okay, it is an important part of urban forestry. And urban forestry is what? So you can say urban forestry is planting trees, maintaining trees, taking care of those trees in urban areas. okay, in urban areas. And what is the significance? If you are going to plant trees in urban areas, which is known as urban forestry, so those trees, they are going to provide shade, they are going to add aesthetic value to the landscape. You can say apart from that, they'll improve air quality, okay, they'll improve air quality, they'll improve, you can say, availability of water, they'll improve water quality, and they'll help you in mitigation from global warming and climate change, okay. So you can say, if we are going to focus on urban forestry, so urban forestry is going to make our cities more sustainable, because you are incorporating an element of environment. Because generally we see that in urban areas, tree cover, okay, gradually reduces and declines, because we cut trees for various purposes, either for construction of roads, for buildings, for any other project. But opposite to that, if you start planting trees, if you'll take caring of those trees, so of course those trees are also going to take care of you. Now, apart from urban forestry, you can say arboriculture is, you can say, also critical to forestry industry. Like we were talking about social forestry, we were talking about agroforestry. तो चाहे social forestry हो, agroforestry हो, आप trees ही तो plant कर रहे हो ना, you are taking care of those trees, although you can say there are economic benefits, but ऐसा तो नहीं कि सिर्फ economic benefits ही होंगे. So I told you that agroforestry is not only meant to provide environmental conservation, it is also going to provide different types of benefits to people. Fruits, you can say, different types of forest produce. So forestry, social forestry, agroforestry, they are also a part of arboriculture. तो अगर आप उसको connect कर लोगे, if you are able to connect urban forestry, social forestry, agroforestry, then I think you have enough content, enough material to write. So guys, we have discussed all these topics, okay, and now ये सारे topics पढ़ने के बाद now quickly, okay, we will discuss about all the resources of UP, all the power resources of UP, because there is not much in that topic. फटाफट जो भी power resources हैं, जो भी resources हैं, वो हम लोग discuss कर लेंगे, ठीक है. तो चलिए मैं अब आप लोगों से मिलूंगा कल, और कल हम लोग